Act. Guys, I'm going to get right to it. We just got a court date from the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals. We will be in federal court, circuit court, on Friday, February 16 in downtown St. Louis, the state of Missouri, the Missouri Firearms Coalition versus Joe Biden and the Department of Injustice. It's going to be a head-to-head clash over the 10th Amendment as applied to Missouri's Second Amendment Preservation Act. Guys, this is the big one because we have to get through this process to have a chance for SAPA law to be heard in the United States Supreme Court. Guys, if you're pressed for time, whatever else you do, hit the link below or above this broadcast and donate to our legal defense fund now. We need your support immediately. Time is of the essence. Please stand with us right now. If you've got more time, I'm going to break this down for you, give you more details on what we're talking about and how you guys can help us fight to defend freedom here in Missouri. So we call it the Second Amendment Preservation Act. You guys probably all know what this means, but if you're new to Missouri or the fight for gun rights, I'm going to quickly outline this for you. Missouri's SAPA law is pretty simple. It just tells Joe Biden that we're a sovereign state. And as a sovereign state with our own state constitution, we have the right to run our state how we damn well please. And so here in Missouri, because of the work of the Missouri Firearms Coalition and great lawmakers in Jeff City, we have passed SAPA law, which tells Joe Biden that here in Missouri, Missouri cops will enforce Missouri gun laws. That's it. They're not going to help you enforce federal gun laws. They're going to enforce Missouri gun laws because, after all, their oath is to the Missouri Constitution. Their paycheck comes from the taxpayers here in Missouri, and they don't work for the federal government. It's pretty simple. But when Joe Biden found out that he was going to lose free access to Missouri's troopers, deputies, and city cops, he lost his freaking mind. Because Biden knows what every tyrant knows, that without local cooperation, federal laws, federal orders, federal regulations, federal executive actions will fall flat on their butt. The feds have always counted on the states to be their enforcement arm. And so even though Missouri is not changing the laws that we enforce, we can still enforce Missouri's gun laws, Missouri's laws against violent crime. We're simply not enforcing Biden's laws. But when Biden heard that, he knew immediately that if he did not deal with Missouri's SAPA law, it would spread like wildfire. And of course, Merrick Garland knew that as well. These two guys run the Department of Injustice, and they are hell-bent on overturning Missouri's SAPA law. And so they began that process in different courts. We defeated them multiple times. But as everyone knows, they judge-shopped this to Judge Wimes in the district court process about a year and a half ago now. And last March, Judge Wimes came out, no surprise, and he said, I don't like Missouri's SAPA law. I think it's unconstitutional. I'm going to rule against it. And of course, the entire opinion was crap. He did not discuss all the Supreme Court precedent for SAPA, didn't discuss the 10th Amendment hardly at all in the context of SAPA, and simply struck it down. But we knew that was going to happen. That wasn't a surprise. If you were there with us for oral arguments, you would have seen that Judge Wimes was viciously opposed to anybody telling the federal government that we have our own state sovereignty here in Missouri. So we expected that. And so our plan all along was to see SAPA heard in the United States Supreme Court, because if that happens and the most pro-gun Supreme Court in any of our lifetimes today gets a chance to hear Missouri's SAPA law and they uphold it, which we expect that they certainly would, it would be a game changer beyond our wildest comprehensions. Because I want to be clear on this. Missouri's SAPA law is a gun law, right? It protects us from federal gun control. But at the end of the day, Missouri's SAPA law primarily is a 10th Amendment state sovereignty law that we have simply channeled towards our gun rights. What does that mean? Well, it means that this concept can be used both here in Missouri, but also in red states all over America to peacefully refuse to comply with federal tyranny in a whole host of other areas. And so the ramifications of Missouri's SAPA law extend far beyond Missouri and far beyond our gun rights. That is why Merrick Garland had an entire plane of DOJ lawyers in Kansas City a year and a half ago. That is why they're going to have a huge plane load of lawyers in St. Louis in just over a month, because they know this is for all the freaking marbles. We're already seeing other states right now use Missouri's SEPA law as a chassis for their own efforts to expand freedom. For example, in Texas, they modeled the enforcement mechanism of their new pro-life law on the civil penalties we built into Missouri's SEPA law. In Louisiana, right now, this session, lawmakers are filing bills which would have the state not comply with unconstitutional FISA warrants with the federal government using Missouri's SEPA law as their vehicle. This idea of state sovereignty is spreading because the tyranny from Joe Biden is unrelenting, and this gives the states a way to peacefully say, we're not doing that here. And that is why there's a shiver down the spine of Joe Biden and Merrick Garland. If we protect SEPA law, we protect state sovereignty. That is, again, far beyond any one particular state or any one law. It is the biggest issue of our time. We're very proud. I am proud as hell that Missouri Firearms Coalition members, we passed constitutional carry, stand your ground law in a limited fashion back in the day. Castle Doctrine expansion, lifetime carry permits, all those things. Excellent. Our members have tossed out bad politicians in the Senate, in the House, congressional candidates, U.S. Senate candidates. We have much to be proud of. But nothing compares to what we did when we passed SEPA in 2021. Nothing compares. So, guys, this is the big one. So please help us with this fight. Hit the link below, hit the link above, and donate to our legal defense fund. We must have the resources we need for our legal team to engage on this fight in the 8th Circuit, and we're running out of time. So please hit that link, guys, and get involved in this fight. It's going to be a big one. Now, here's the deal. Whatever happens at the 8th Circuit, it's not the end of the fight, because if we win, and I want to be clear on this, there's a chance that we actually could win this entire thing in the 8th Circuit. The judges, there's 3 judges. One is an Obama appointee, one is a George H.W. Bush appointee, and one is a George Jr. appointee. Now, so 2 Republican appointed judges, 1 Democrat. Does that mean anything these days? No, frankly, it doesn't. But it's a lot better than having 3 Obama-appointed judges hearing the case. We could wrap this entire thing up in the 8th Circuit and be good, be done. If we win at the 8th, the DOJ, for all the reasons I mentioned above, they have no choice but to appeal to the Supreme Court. On the flip side, if we lose in the 8th Circuit, AG Andrew Bailey, Missouri Attorney General Bailey, has made it very clear to us and to the media and publicly that the DOJ we will appeal our case to the Supreme Court, and we'll see the DOJ again down the road before the United States Supreme Court. So either way, whatever happens in the 8th will probably not be the end of the story. But we need to get this case through the circuit court process to have a chance to have this thing heard before the United States Supreme Court. So, guys, again, there's a lot riding on this. It's going to be a long fight, no question about it. We always knew that going into this, and we got to keep fighting, guys. So hit that link, make a donation today, help us fight for you in court, and much more coming in the days and weeks ahead. Thank you very much.